The late afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm, golden hue over the suburban backyard. The pool sparkled invitingly, its surface rippling as the gentle breeze stirred the water. It was a perfect summer day, one that seemed almost too tranquil to be disturbed. Kara stood in front of her phone, carefully adjusting the angle. "Alright, guys. You know what time it is. Time for another dance challenge," she said, flashing her signature grin. Her followers loved these moments. They craved the carefree energy she brought, and Kara lived for their attention. Her phone was propped on a tripod by the pool, the TikTok live stream already buzzing with comments. "Slay, Kara. Queen of the dance floor. Do the spin move again." Behind her, a stroller sat quietly next to a lounge chair, her 6-month-old son, Noah, asleep under a light blanket. His tiny chest rose and fell in a peaceful rhythm, oblivious to the noise around him. The music started, blasting from her Bluetooth speaker. Kara launched into the routine, sharp, practiced movements, each step more confident than the last. Her hair caught the light as she spun, her laughter echoing into the warm air. Her eyes flicked to the screen occasionally, scanning the comments. The hearts kept pouring in, feeding her ego. The thrill of being watched, admired, adored, it was intoxicating. She didn't see the stroller's front wheel wobble. The ground beneath it sloped gently, almost imperceptibly, toward the pool. A gust of wind nudged it just enough to set it in motion. It rolled slowly, quietly, like a predator stalking its prey. Kara kept dancing, unaware. Then came the sound, a soft thud, followed by a splash that shattered the peaceful afternoon. For a moment, Kara thought it was part of the music. But then she heard it. The cry. High-pitched and desperate. Her blood turned to ice. "Noah," she screamed, spinning around to see the stroller sinking into the pool, the blanket floating on the surface. Time slowed to a crawl as she stared, her brain struggling to process what was happening. Her body moved before her mind could catch up. She sprinted to the edge of the pool and dove in without hesitation. The water was colder than she expected, shocking her senses. She clawed at the stroller, her fingers fumbling with the straps. Noah's face was red, his mouth open in a silent cry beneath the water. She yanked him free, her lungs burning as she pushed off the bottom and broke the surface. Noah gasped, coughing and wailing, his tiny body trembling in her arms. Kara stumbled out of the pool, collapsing onto the warm stone tiles. She held him close, rocking him back and forth, tears streaming down her face. Her phone was still recording. The comments had changed. "OMG, is that a baby? Someone help her. What just happened?" Reality hit Kara like a freight train. She glanced at the phone, still lying on the ground, the live stream capturing every second of her breakdown. The world was watching. In the distance, a neighbor shouted, "Are you okay?" Kara barely heard them. Her heart was still pounding in her chest, each beat echoing with the weight of her mistake. Noah's cries softened into whimpers. His eyes, wide and trusting, stared up at her. The world around her blurred, the comments, the sound of the phone, everything fading away. All she could see was her son and the sheer horror of what could have happened. A surge of guilt twisted in her stomach. What had she been thinking? How had she let herself get so consumed by something so meaningless while the most important thing in her life was right there, needing her protection? The live stream continued. Comments poured in faster now, some concerned, others angry, and a few cruel. "You call yourself a mom? Someone report her. This is why social media is toxic." Kara scrambled to her feet and ended the stream with trembling fingers. The silence that followed was deafening. The adrenaline began to wear off, replaced by the crushing weight of reality. She looked at Noah, still snuggled against her chest, his breathing calm once more. His innocence was a reminder of how close she had come to losing everything. She sat down on the lounge chair, water pooling around her feet, and cradled him tightly. 1,000 thoughts raced through her mind. The followers, the likes, the fleeting validation, all of it seemed so hollow now. Kara knew she had a choice to make. This wasn't just a close call. It was a wake-up call. Her phone buzzed beside her, notifications piling up, but for the first time in a long time, she ignored them. Instead, she kissed Noah's forehead and whispered, "I'm so sorry, baby. I'll do better. I promise." The sun slipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows over the backyard. For once, Kara wasn't worried about capturing the perfect shot. She sat there holding her son, listening to the sound of his soft breathing, the only thing that truly mattered. Kara held Noah tightly, her body trembling as reality sank in deeper with every second. She couldn't shake the image of his tiny face beneath the water. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she whispered apologies over and over. But there was no undoing what had just happened. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, the fallout from the live stream already spiraling out of control. Kara could see her notifications stacking up, hundreds of comments, messages, and reposts of the incident. People were already dissecting her life, judging her every move, labeling her the careless TikTok mom. Her hands shook as she wrapped Noah in a fresh towel, pressing his damp hair against her cheek. She needed to call someone, her mom, a friend, but who would understand? Who wouldn't judge her for what had just happened? A knock at the door made her jump. She froze. Another knock, louder this time. Then a voice, "This is Child Protective Services." "Mom, we need to speak with you." Kara's heart dropped. How did they get here so fast? She stood, clutching Noah tightly, and walked toward the door, her legs feeling like lead. When she opened it, two stern-faced social workers stood on the porch, their eyes scanning her soaked clothes and tear-streaked face. "We received multiple calls about a potential child endangerment situation during a live stream," the woman said. "We need to ask you some questions." Kara swallowed hard, her throat dry. "It was an accident," she whispered. "I was distracted for a second, and may we come in?" She stepped aside, her pulse pounding in her ears. They walked into the living room, their eyes taken in the stroller by the pool, the phone still buzzing with notifications, and Noah, now calm and nestled in her arms. "Is he okay?" the male social worker asked, his tone softening just slightly. "Yes," Kara said quickly. "I pulled him out right away. He's fine, I swear." The woman nodded, jotting notes on a clipboard. "We'll need to make sure of that. Would you mind if we called an EMT to check him over? Just to be safe." Kara nodded, her voice caught in her throat. Minutes later, paramedics arrived, their presence only adding to her rising panic. They examined Noah carefully, checking his breathing, his vitals. After what felt like an eternity, one of them smiled gently. "He's perfectly healthy," the paramedic said. A little shaken, but no signs of water inhalation or injury. Kara exhaled a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. But the social workers weren't finished. "Ma'am," the woman began, her voice measured, "we understand accidents happen. But given the circumstances, we'll need to open an investigation. This means we'll be visiting regularly for a while to ensure Noah's safety." Kara's eyes widened. "An investigation? But I'm a good mom. I just made a mistake." "That may be true," the man said calmly. "But the live stream is public. It's already been shared widely. Our priority is the child's well-being. This isn't just about what happened today, it's about making sure it doesn't happen again." The weight of his words crushed her. This wasn't going to be swept under the rug. People would talk. They would judge. Her life would be scrutinized under a microscope, and every parenting decision she made would be questioned. The social workers left with a promise to return the next day. The house felt empty without their presence, but the heaviness in the air lingered. Kara sank onto the couch, holding Noah close, her mind racing. Her phone sat on the table, still buzzing. Against her better judgment, she picked it up. The notifications flooded in. #carelessmom trending. TikTok sensation nearly loses baby while dancing for clout. Should influencers even be parents? Her face paled as she scrolled. Clips of the incident were everywhere, edited, slowed down, analyzed. Strangers were debating her fitness as a mother in comment sections and reaction videos. Her vision blurred with tears. She turned off the phone and tossed it aside. This was no longer about likes or followers. This was about her son, his safety, his future. She had a lot to think about. The next morning, the headlines grew worse. Local news picked up the story. A reporter knocked on her door. Neighbors whispered behind her back. Her mother called, her voice trembling with worry. "Kara, what happened? People are calling me, asking if it's true." "I messed up, Mom," Kara admitted through sobs. "I just wanted to be successful at something, and I got lost in it. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You need to focus on what matters most now," her mother said firmly. "Noah needs you more than the world needs another viral video." It was exactly what Kara needed to hear. Over the following weeks, Kara worked tirelessly to rebuild her life, not her online presence, but her real life. She deleted the TikTok app. The investigation was tough, but she cooperated fully, determined to prove she could be the mother Noah deserved. It wasn't easy. The whispers didn't stop overnight, and the internet had a long memory. But for once, Kara didn't care. Her priorities had shifted. In the quiet of their home, Kara watched Noah sleep one night, his tiny fingers curled around hers. She knew she'd never forget that day by the pool. It had been the worst moment of her life, but it had also been a turning point. She had been given a second chance, and she wasn't going to waste it. Weeks passed, and while Kara worked on herself and focused entirely on Noah, the internet moved on to the next scandal, the next viral moment. But the damage to her reputation lingered. Friends avoided her, family members looked at her with quiet judgment, and every time she stepped outside, she could feel the weight of whispers behind her back. Despite it all, Kara didn't give up. She'd learned the hard way that pretending nothing happened wouldn't make it go away. She needed to take responsibility, not just for herself, but for the countless other parents caught in the toxic chase for social media validation. It was time to speak out. Sitting on her living room couch one evening, Kara held Noah in her lap, kissed his forehead, and hit the record button on her phone. But this time, it wasn't a dance challenge or a silly trend. This was her truth. The camera captured her raw and unfiltered, no makeup, no perfect lighting. Just a mother bearing her soul. "Hi, everyone," she began, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "A few weeks ago, something happened that changed my life forever. I made a terrible mistake, one that could have cost me everything. My son, Noah, almost drowned while I was distracted, caught up in the world of social media. You may have seen the videos. You may have judged me. And honestly, I deserve that judgment." She paused, gathering her thoughts. "But I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to take responsibility and to make sure no other parent falls into the same trap I did. I got caught up in the rush of likes and views, and I lost sight of what truly matters: my family, my son, his safety. No amount of internet fame is worth risking the life of someone you love." Her voice cracked, but she pushed through. "I've learned from this, and I'm working every day to be a better mom. Not a perfect mom, because none of us are, but a present mom. And I hope that if you're watching this, you remember to put your phone down and be present too. We are more than our social media personas. Our real lives matter so much more. The video ended with her holding Noah close, his sleepy smile resting against her shoulder. Kara hesitated before hitting the post, but she knew it was the right thing to do. Within hours, the video spread like wildfire. But this time, the response was different. Wow, this is so honest and brave. Thank you for being real. We need more of this. We all make mistakes. You've inspired me to put my phone down and focus on my family. Even news outlets that had criticized her harshly picked up the story again, highlighting her redemption and newfound mission to raise awareness about parenting in the social media age. Kara didn't stop there. She partnered with a child safety organization to launch a campaign called #BePresent, encouraging parents to put down their phones and reconnect with their kids. She hosted live streams, not to dance, but to talk about parenting struggles, mental health, and the dangers of living life through a screen. Slowly, the public's perception of her shifted. What once defined her, the careless moment by the pool, was now just a chapter in her story, not the whole book. One afternoon, as she pushed Noah on a swing at the park, a young woman approached her. "Hey, I saw your video," the woman said with a shy smile. "I just wanted to say thank you. It made me realize how much time I was missing with my own kids. I'm trying to be more present now because of you." Kara smiled, her eyes misting. "Thank you for saying that. That means more than you know." As the woman walked away, Kara looked down at Noah, who was giggling as the swing flew higher. She laughed with him, feeling lighter than she had in months. Her life wasn't perfect, and it never would be. But for the first time in a long time, it felt real. And that was enough.